Hi, welcome to another episode of Coffee Break with Pam. Today, I want to answer one question I'm asked quite often, which is what is essential skills modern marketers should possess? After this short live videos, I will give you some ideas in terms of what are the skills that you need, and you need to give some thoughts in terms of how you can build that skill set over a period of time. All right. By the way, my coffee break is a series that is syndicated to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you miss my live stream today, you can always see my archive of recorded video on Pam Didner YouTube channel. All right, just go there and check it out. If you have any specific questions, you can always comment and subscribe. If you like the way I explain things, please give the video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And I'd love to hear from you. Now back to essential skills. These, type of a skill set probably tend to fall into a different kind of categories. All right. Number one, a lot of people said, oh, you need to develop the career skill set by like soft and hard. Soft skills and hard skills. Soft skills include your communication style, excuse me, problem solving ability, and relationship with your management. How do you manage that relationship with your internal stakeholders and with your senior management, agency partners, and internal stakeholders? Hard skills are your marketing disciplines and areas of expertise. Another common way to categorize essential skill is what we call the horizontal or vertical skills, right? Horizontal skills are the skill set that are transferable from one field to another. So this is very similar to a communication style, project management skill set that you have, which is kind of like a soft skill. Vertical skills deal with mastering a specific expertise, such as pay media, SEO, event marketing, etc. Again, kind of like a hard skills type of a classification. Finally, you'll hear people talking about whether you should be a generalist or a specialist, right? A generalist is a bit of everything about marketing, while a specialist focuses on specific expertise. So, you know what? It doesn't matter the categories. The category really doesn't matter, honestly, when you are thinking about essential skill sets. It's nice to categorize in a way so you can have a very solid conversation with your management. But the five key skills I want to talk about, they are not necessarily defined by any specific category for digital marketers. It's really based on my experience of making that transition from a traditional marketer to a digital marketer, as well as a lot of insights I received by coaching many marketers. So let me show you in terms of what I have in mind. Number one, ability to connect different dots. This is a core of digital marketing. By the way, what is digital anyway? Digital means different things to different people. To me, digital marketing entails anything and everything you can seamlessly interact online, from desktop, tablets, iPad, phones, even to a smartwatch, right? Digital is that experience that you interact online. It doesn't matter you are consume piece of content passively or you are registered to buy something. Everything is digital. So digital does mean different things to different people. For developers, it's probably all about coding and backend. For marketers, it can be content, it can be digital ads, email campaigns, or even just website or apps. Ultimately, digital also means back-end integration, present seamless interactions for your customers on the front end. So it's the back end and the front end that work together. If digital is done right, it creates a seamless customer experience with intuitive design that allows people to discover, interact, or even buy from you. To me, that's what digital is. Because it changes from kind of like from device to device, you want to create that seamless experience from device to device. To do digital to do digital right, you need to not only think about how your customers browse, engage with you on various devices and platforms, but also what you need to deliver, okay, that customer experience. And people or users people or users expect brands to deliver fast and quick, easy services. They also expect whatever you do, for them actually at their fingertips. So when you are thinking about digital, you need to think about in a very holistic manner that requires you to actually connect different dots. It requires technology to pull that off to create that experience. And you also need to understand what their needs are. Okay. For example, if you create a piece of content, you need to think through how that piece of content will be presented on your website and how you will showcase that on social media platform, or if that piece of content can be embedded into your app. You need to think about how one piece of content will be used in multiple different ways, in multiple different devices, along a different customer journey. That's what I mean about connecting the dots. Number 2, connecting the dots requires you to be a generalist. Obviously, I have a strong opinion about this, right? So when somebody asks me, should I be a specialist or should I be a generalist? My answer is always that you need to be both. But more importantly, is on the generalist part. And I'm speaking that from my own experience. When I was in the corporate world, I was a traditional marketer. And I did traditional media buys, such as print, out of home, and radio ads. When I was creating content for print, you know what? That's the content for print. And that doesn't have to apply to a radio ad, so out of home. Well, the creative concept may apply, but the copywriting will be completely different. And each channel at that time acted as a separate entity. They didn't need to be connected in a way. Does that make sense? So when people are listening to the radio, they listen to a radio. They are not really thinking about, oh, how would I look at this piece of content on on my mobile devices, right? So they will separate each marketing channel, if you will. It's no longer the case in the digital world. Everything is connected from social media channels to email outreach to your app to your website. You need to think about the overall experience you want to present because they are interrelated. You can't just focus on one based on your own roles and responsibility anymore. If you are even marketing manager, you cannot just focus on event anymore. There is a pre-event on the digital elements or social media you need to think about, and there's a post-event digital elements that you need to think through, not just the physical event that you are responsible for. Is that helpful? Connecting the dots come from how you're going to dial up and dial down of each channel, as well as understanding the overall impact when you dial something up or down, because it will have an impact or have that connecting effect down to the other channels. So to do that right, you need to know each channel well to some extent. So that's a specialist part. You don't have to be like a master of it, but you need to know enough to be dangerous. Connecting the dots requires you to be a generalist. Okay, so that's number 2. Like I said, I have a strong opinion about this, and you may not agree with me, but once you kind of go through your career as a marketer, you will kind of know what I mean, especially if you want to climb that corporate ladder and going up. I also have a strong opinion that each modern marketer needs to know the basic concept of SEO, search engine optimization. To me, that's a basic foundation of anything digital. If you want Google or search engine to determine, think about it. Google and the search engine will determine whether you will be found. All right. Not you make that decision. It's not media buy. Well, you can buy a media, you can do a pay media and then make sure you're being found. But in general, organically, if you want your content, you want your name to be found, you need to understand how SEO works. Understand that will help you and your marketing savviness. So it's very important. If machine that's going to determine how you're going to be found, don't you think it's important you know how that works? Like I said, I'm not saying that you need to master SEO, but you need to understand the concept and the basic idea how it works. I have worked very hard to know SEO because I have my own website and I also create content. If you want to create content, you need to make sure it's a search optimized. It's a lot to learn. It can be overwhelming. I get that, but that should not deter you from understanding how SEO works. All right. So that's that. And honestly, working for myself, I create content from blogging to podcasting to video production, even to live streaming like this. It helps me tremendously to know the ins and out of how different formats of content by doing it. I know each field well enough now. I can connect the dots for my personal brand and the business. At the same time, I use that knowledge to help my clients connect different dots too. So you can. So once you are the generalist and you know many different marketing disciplines, you can help your colleagues and the manager connect the dots. You go. All right, you can do this. Number 3, know Martech stack. Understanding technology is super critical if you want to be a modern marketer. There's no exception whatsoever. Many of us are overwhelmed by how fast technology advances. Trust me, I know. And we have a hard time sourcing the right platforms or connecting different platforms together to build that automated process. And once you build an automated process, guess what? New technology comes along and you have to redo it. I get all that. It's called job security. It's hard. So you wouldn't believe how much money I spend in trying different platforms and technology, and how hard I work to ensure different platforms are working together. In order to have a sense of that clarity, you really need to know Martech, right? It's kind of like, like a lot of tools I buy, I pay for kind of like a subscription model. And to me, that the payment is like paying tuition. It's I pay the tuition to learn. It's kind of like going to the university of the internet. You go to this big internet university and you learn more and more about technology. And by doing that, you also gain knowledge in terms of how digital works. All right. Sometimes you want to learn, you have to pay, right? There's no shortcut, absolutely none. Knowledge is not free. So if you are a content marketer, email marketer, or even marketer, you tend to focus on project management and coordination part of, trying to get that email out, try to get that event, go live. But I strongly encourage you to understand how different platforms work together behind the scenes. Many of you have like IT and agencies to help you out to pull that back in, but make an effort to understand. You will not regret it. Number 4, understand how to interpret data and convert it to insight. So I talk about Martech just now, but the other thing I think is important, equally important, if you will, is data analytics. I have come to realize that modern marketers need to conduct at least some level of analysis yourself, rather than completely relying on your data analytics team or data scientists to actually pull the data for you. Right? You need to be able to interpret data on your own. For example, if you are email marketer, you need to review, open rates and click-through rates, as well as monitor the performance of specific calls to actions, such as contacting sales, completing surveys, or filling out the forms. Pull the data from other sources, not just your email platform with the basic analytics, is very critical. Can you correlate your email and platforms analytics with other platforms? Challenge yourself and see if you can do that. Right? Learning to evaluate and correlate the data with different sources, you will start seeing the effectiveness of your email marketing effort, or you will see why it's not performing well, or you will also see why your email is not contributing to, say, the sales or a lead generation effort. You need to be able to pull the data and correlate with other sources. Okay. Number 5, ability to build workflows and the processes. I've talked about the importance of understanding the digital. I talk about the Martech and also data analytics. The other thing, which is the last essential skills I want to talk about, is ability to build workflows. In many enterprises, building workflows is marketing ops job. I understand that. Okay. Frankly, I think every modern marketers need to have the ability to set their workflows and automation based on their own roles and responsibilities. For example, again, if you're doing email marketing and you send out email on a monthly basis, what is your process? Can you build a workflow to articulate that? That's not the marketing ops job. That's your job. But once you start building a workflow, box by box, you will see maybe there are some gaps. Maybe there are certain steps are so incredibly manual. You can think through in terms of what you can do to automate it. That's another way to enhance your Martech skill set. That's another way to showcase you can connect different dots. Yay! So another example, if you are working on account-based marketing, can you challenge yourself to build a workflow on how you are going to implement account-based marketing, right? That doesn't mean you have to do it, but once you do that, it actually help you and create a sense of clarity. And you are able to explain to your team members or your management what you need to make that happen, okay? Try it. You know what I'm talking about, right? Soft skills such as how to articulate your point of view and how to act well with others, make it clear that you are a great communicator, that's a given. No matter what kind of job that you are going to get, you need that, period. So practice to be a good communicator and try to grab every single opportunity if you can to present to others or even speak at the conferences. That's actually how I learn, right? I grab every single opportunity I can to present to management. Whenever my manager was like, "Hey, we have to showcase our annual plan. Is anybody interested? Present it to, say, Nancy." And I always say, "Yeah, I can do it." I know initially I sucked big time and I stutter. But you know what? Over a period of time, when you practice enough, you get better. It's kind of like I challenge myself to do this live streaming. Trust me, I don't think I'm that good, but I make an effort, right? I do some preparation up front, and I also practice with my video producer, Scott, who is actually watching this one and trying to monitor my performance, and also make sure that all the technical part of it goes well. So I try to put myself out there, and you should do something similar. If you want to practice your communication and presentation skills, put yourself out there. There's no other way to grow. Over time, you'll get better. Trust me on this. All right. So these 5 essential skills is actually not by any conventional approach or recommendation like you read other blogs or books. It's based on my own experience being a digital marketer and coaching many marketers out there. And I personally think these 5 things is what I have seen and you need in order to be a solid B2B marketers in the next 10, 15 years. So let's review all of them one more time. Number 1, learn how to connect different dots. Okay. Like I said, when you are creating a piece of something, think through how this will be used. That's a perfect example of connecting different dots. Number 2, be a generalist by knowing different marketing disciplines. Don't just focus on your roles and your responsibilities. Try to understand how other marketings are done and then trying to connect the dots back to what you do, right? Number 3, make Martech your BFF. Understand marketing technologies as much as you can. All right. Ask questions. If your agency and IT people are doing that, go have one-on-one with them, buy them a coffee, do whatever. Try to understand the platforms that they are sourcing for you and understand how the back end works together. Number 4, use data to help you make decision. Data-driven decision making is critical moving forward because everything is digital. When you have things that's trackable digitally, you should be able to see the data. When you have data, you should be able to analyze it. Once you analyze it, you will have a certain point of view. So use data to help you make decision. Number 5, be able to build workflows to better articulate the implementation process. If nobody is doing it, do it. Just take on it and build it and see how much you understand the whole process. Okay. So building workflow is super critical to understand digital marketing, especially the front end and the back end. Now I would like you to think about what you can do to grow these skill sets. If you have any questions on what to focus on first, reach out to me. Let's have a chat. More than happy to help out, excuse me, and just share some of the recommendation I have for other people that I have coached. I also love to hear in the comments if you have any skill set that you are working on that you think is super important to be a modern marketer. And if I didn't mention any skill set that you think is imperative, essential, you know what? Join the conversation. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's coffee break. Yay. Don't forget to comment and subscribe below. And join me next time for a brand new topic. Take care.